named Brian Presley, and later on, Nina, I'll let you tell who he is, was hitting on a young woman on a plane, as men are wont to do, except that he is married, and this woman has a large Twitter following, like 13,000 followers or something like that, and she live tweeted the entire douchey episode. And I guess our question is going to be, is that okay to do? Is that something that men have to think about now when in this generation age?
Yes and yes.
Absolutely.
So comments, observations.
If you're going to cheat on your wife, then yeah, you should be prepared for that if you're the guy.
You know what? She was pretty harsh, but if what she was tweeting was accurate, he really deserved it because he was a douche.
I mean,
And he was
I feel bad for him because once you read the rest of the story and you realize that he's had a problem with alcohol, and it sounds like he fell off the wagon in a very public way now. I mean, when you do that, yeah, a woman's going to talk about it. She's going to tell people, and it's an information age, and her telling people might be telling everybody.
Yep.
As it happens. So, yeah, it's just life in the 21st century.
On the other hand, she could have just said, dude, I'm not into you.
Yeah, but did you see her response, though? I mean, his response on his Facebook page, it was on People Magazine today. His response was, oh, it's so funny when you fall asleep on a plane for 10 minutes and somebody makes up wild stories about you and takes your picture, and I walk with God, and the most important thing to me is my sobriety, my family, and God. And I was like, okay, God is going, dude, leave me out of this. I had nothing to do with it.
When I read his response, Barbara, I actually kind of believed him. And I found it funny that people, whether he turned out to be a famous actor or not, if it was just some guy on a plane talking to this girl, I just found it funny that everybody took her word for exactly how the conversation went. How do we know she's just not a girl who thinks that every man who's, smiles and talks to her
and takes off his wedding ring?
To fuck her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that she kept tweeting it, like Ben said, I think I would have even more respect for her if she just said, dude, I see your wedding ring. This ain't going to happen. Roll over and go to sleep. I'm going to sit here and tweet or read my book. But she didn't. She chose to keep outing him and just kind of like, I thought it was a little tacky thing for her to do. We have no way of knowing that it happened the way she said it did. Just because she tweeted it, that's how it happened.
I believe that in even those stories that you talk about, like on people's blogs and stuff, I think that there's always a kernel of truth, but then they embellish it to make it more funny or more interesting or more exciting. So do I think that he hit on her? Probably. I really do. But I don't know if it went down exactly the way she said, and I certainly think that she was aware of her 13,000 followers when it was happening. Like, oh, goody, I've got material, you know.
Exactly.
And I think that's the chance you take. If you're going to be, if you're a guy and you're going to do that kind of thing, you have to know that, I mean, even people who are not famous are going to go and post it on Facebook and be like, guess what happened to me today on the airplane.
And I mean, I think I just kind of thought it was also kind of tasteless how she took his picture when he was sleeping and posted it.
Yes, that was.
And this is after she knew who he was, and then her tweet after that was, did I just ruin his life? Probably, bitch. Now, don't get me wrong. If that's what he was doing, that's really fucked up. But everybody's responsible for the way they handle every situation. And I don't think that because what he did was shitty, that means that you get to follow it up with doing something shitty. And that's even if she's telling the truth, but nobody knows.
But that's my point. You can sit there and say just because he did something shitty, she doesn't have the right to do something shitty. But actually, she does have the right to do something shitty because people have the right to be assholes. I mean, people are assholes, and you don't know if the person that you're talking to is an asshole or not, so you should probably just be aware.
Right.
That they may be an asshole and they may post this for everyone to see.
I didn't know about this until right now. See, so all I'm hearing about is this. So I understand that she posted the picture because maybe people maybe she wanted to prove that she really was on there.
Exactly.
If she didn't, then it would be even less believable that she actually spoke to the guy.
But my point is that all that proves is that, and honestly, you couldn't even tell it was him from the picture, but you have no way of knowing that when you're taking the picture, right? You don't know that it's going to not come out perfectly or whatever. But my point is this. What was my point? My point was all that picture does is prove that she was sitting next to him on the plane. That does not mean that he was being as pervy as she said. Some of the stuff he was saying honestly wasn't that bad. It was lame, but it wasn't like him hitting on her. You know, he was talking about Jesus and all. If you don't want to hear about Jesus.
No, it wouldn't have been that bad if a guy did this, you know, on a plane, was hitting on a pretty lady. That's fine. But when you walk around constantly throwing God and morality and my marriage and sobriety and all the, if you look at this guy's Facebook page, which I did, he has dozens of postings that always open with this sanctimonious bullshit about how he's religious and he's sober and he's married, so he's awesome. And if you're religious and sober and married and you're trying to scam a model on a plane.
But again, that's just, we have her side of it. I think to me the bigger question is, are we automatically now believing everything people tweet and they blog?
No, but I believe her.
I'm sorry?
No, I don't believe everything, but I do believe her.
You believed it.
Only because, again, it's not like she tweeted, I was sitting next to Matthew McConaughey and he did this to me. That is a big-name person who everyone's going to recognize. This is kind of a B grade at best on a good day guy. So what if she...
That's my point. I don't think that people necessarily... my point is that when people now have an audience, we are all just, you know, at the end of the day, regular people, right? But
speak for yourself.
as someone who has held an audience, right? I know the temptation to feel like, what the hell am I going to say today? Mm-hmm. Okay, when you've written daily, okay, as I have for years, where you could write about taking a poop and getting poop on your hand, and it getting thousands of views on MySpace and likes and comments, or you can write about the breakfast you made, and these are things that I've written about and got thousands of views. When you have an audience, you know, I just think that we can't automatically assume that everything people tweet is the truth. And I just found it funny that everybody just automatically believed it.
In our society, we've kind of overall learned to take a woman's side of things first in a lot of cases.
Yeah, we just assume men are cheating dogs, is what you're saying, right?
Okay, but as a woman, I think I would tend to believe it because I think that that's an experience that a lot of women have. Getting, you know, just getting hit on just because, you know, that's what guys do. And I'm not saying that he deserves public humiliation for that, although I think, again, that's a risk that you're taking. I think that there probably something went down that she thought was a little weird or a little bit off. Did she then, like, embellish this story to make it, you know, sleazier than maybe it was? I believe that.
Can you guys clarify something for me? Was she doing it live, like as it was happening?
Yes.
Okay, well I believe it now more when I know that, because I mean, how could she make it? It doesn't make sense that she was making it up as it was happening like that.
And you see, the thing is, I'm sure it happened, but she had the choice to stop doing what she was doing at any point. She was playing to her Twitter followers.
But my point is, she also had the ability. Just because it was live, that doesn't make it true. She also had the ability, like Nenea said, to embellish. So because if you read the stream, it started off like innocent enough, and then it was just, you know, maybe he was annoying. Maybe he was talking about Jesus too much. Trust me, if I get on a red-eye flight and some guy starts talking about Jesus the whole time, yeah, I'm probably going to be tweeting on Facebook, and you guys are going to be giggling like, oh, my God, he's trying to save me on the plane. You know, you could save me by shutting up. Like, I know how to tweet and, you know, keep people interested in the most mundane things that's going on in my life, but just because it was live doesn't mean that she didn't embellish it. I mean, we know nothing about this person, and all of a sudden people believe her. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying to me, the bigger story, the thing that I found more interesting is not that some guy is trying to, like, screw a pretty woman that's not his wife. That's not shocking. What I found so funny was that this person who is, you know, quote, unquote, nobody, just, the world took her word for it.
Okay, so before we move on, let's take a poll then. Who believes her?
I believe something happened, yeah.
She may have been
you know
both.
what?
It's like, no, I don't believe that bitch.
I mean, but
You know something? The way he writes on his Facebook page after reading it, I believe her more than ever. Because the way she was writing things, and yes, you're right, she was snarking it up so that people would laugh, but the way she was writing things about how he discovers himself as an artist and he just wants to, walk with God and all this stuff, I was like, this is all his style if you read his Facebook page.
Right, but that doesn't mean that he was trying to fuck her. I don't understand that. To me, that's what I'm saying. Yes, that to me it sounds like there was a conversation that was annoying to her.
Right.
And every woman has been into a situation where you're talking to a guy that you just wish would shut up. Like, you don't want him talking to you.
Well, okay, but Nina, here's why I would think that he probably did want to fuck her. And men, if I'm doing a disservice, then I apologize. But I don't think men put that much effort into talking to strange women that they don't know, unless on some level they hope she will touch their penis.
Or no, seriously. Or as someone who, and we've had this conversation before. My husband has seen me do it. If I'm talking to an attractive man, it's nice to talk to members of the opposite sex who are attractive. Because you get married, you don't suddenly not find other people attractive. It's nice. There's harmless flirting. There's conversation. You cannot tell me that if you sat on a plane by yourself and some ugly dude sat next to you and started talking to you about the weather and his kids and Jesus, you'd be like, oh. But if a good-looking guy sat down next to you and he was being respectful and he's just talking to you about Jesus and all this stuff, you'd put up with it a little bit longer because he's good-looking.
I wouldn't.
You're right, I would.
Of course.
Now, the one thing she did say, and again, it's like, why, I don't know why everybody's taking her word, but no, that's everybody's choice. The one thing she did say that if this is true, then I was like, yeah, he thought he was going to try to get some. She said he went to the bathroom. Because she called him out about the wedding ring. She asked him about his wife or something. And she says that he said, we're not together, we're separated, but I like wearing the ring or some bullshit. And she said he went to the bathroom, and when he came back, he didn't have the ring on. And to me, I'm like, did he think
that seemed to be another kernel of truth, because she noticed the ring wasn't there, and his reply about why the ring was no longer there was totally lame. So if she was looking to yuck it up and make it really that much funnier, maybe she's a shitty writer, I don't know, but I would have come up with something a lot better than the little lame-ass response that he gave.
I don't know. I also think that once you've seen the ring, then either she's down to fuck married men or she's not. You taking the ring off in the bathroom, is going to make her think you went in the bathroom and got a quickie divorce.
You didn't know they offered that in the bathroom, did you?
Right?
He might not
He had
be
an
that
upgrade on his flight, Barbara.
Must have been first class.
You know what the interesting is if it does come out that it's true, if people care 2 days from now, which they probably won't because, again, this guy isn't an A-list actor, but if it comes out that it's not true, what's totally difficult about it is the little response that he put up of it's not true and it's a lie, because I always come back to Hugh Grant. And Hugh Grant was the guy who went, yep, did it, sorry. Hope you're not too offended. Sorry to my girlfriend. Sorry y'all know that I'm kind of a lowlife a little bit, but, you got to forgive me or not, it's your choice, but I did it. And Rob Lowe, when he got caught with the underage...
Yeah, but they also, again, it's like...
They might have better publicists.
I was just getting ready to say, let's not give them all the credit.
Yeah.
Katoria just said on Twitter, she said, one silly tweet about some anonymous celebrity hitting on her would have been a little funny. She went overboard.
I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. But...
It might have turned some people off.
And you took the ass whooping, and you hoped that your mama didn't find out because you would have gotten another ass whooping at home. So